Good afternoon, welcome to the University of Chester and in particular to the Faculty of Social Science. My name is Martin Begg. I'm one of the Associate Deans in the faculty. I'm also the head of the Department of Geography and International Development. The faculty is one of the university's largest faculties, based largely here, all around us on the Parkgate Road campus. We also teach down at the University Centre Shrewsbury, where we teach psychology, and we have a presence at Warrington with the Institute of Policing. What I'm going to do now is show you around the Department of Geography and International Development, and then my colleagues will show you around other parts of the faculty. Welcome to the BEST building, which is the home of the Department of Geography and International Development, based essentially on the ground floor here in the building. One of the first things that strikes you when you walk into this building is this wonderful space we have here, the foyer area, which is a great place for students to meet informally and a great place for having those sorts of social interactions. But we also use it a little bit for informal teaching, so a place to meet tutors and talk about a piece of coursework or a project. You also start to get a sense of the way in which the department uses technology to infuse and inform its undergraduate teaching. And this box over here, the sandbox, just a simple example of that, which can be used to simulate contouring and contouring on different types of landscape as you move the sand and change the landscape. So most of our specialised teaching spaces are around the foyer area, and the other great thing about the building is all the staff offices are here, so that if ever you need to find somebody, we're very often just a few steps away from the foyer area. What I'm going to do now is take you into one of our laboratories, the Soils Laboratory, which is situated directly off the foyer area. So, welcome to our Soils Laboratory. This is a side of geography you don't tend to see in schools, but we're really well set up here at Chester to do aspects of physical geography in this sort of context, looking at soil, water quality, pollen analysis. What you see here set out on the table is a practical for the first year physical geographers, where they're looking at contamination of water and soil along the Mersey estuary, looking at copper and in particular microplastics, which of course have been in the news a lot lately. So if you're a human geographer, don't worry, don't be put off by all this sort of stuff, because you wouldn't necessarily be spending any time in here whatsoever. Essentially, in the first year, we introduce the physical geographers, in particular the hazard students, to these sorts of techniques, and then how much you go on to do at levels 5 and 6 of the degree in the second and third year really depends on what your specialist interests are. So welcome to a room that we call the map room. When I was a student, mapping was all hard copy, paper copy. These days, of course, the maps are essentially largely digital maps. Whether you're a human geographer or a physical geographer, using digital mapping is a key part of our undergraduate training. This space is a great space. We've got a number of spaces like this in the department that are great for small group teaching. I'll say more about that in a moment, but also that are free for students to use if they're working on pieces of coursework, either individually or in small group settings. Welcome to one of our seminar rooms. One of the distinctive features about the experience here at Chester is the way we use small group teaching. We have two modules in particular at the first and second year called tutorials modules, where the group size is guaranteed to be no more than 8 students to a group, meeting with a tutor and discussing a common curriculum every week in this sort of context, and some of the other rooms you've seen with a large table in the middle. And it's a very interesting module to begin with in the first year. The students are very shy, not really willing to make contributions, and they all sit there quite quietly. But by week 2 or 3, the confidence has grown, and suddenly you've got a group it's almost impossible to keep quiet. So the whole purpose of those modules is about trying to develop confidence in articulating a point of view and discussing it around a table with a group of fellow students and a member of staff. This room, as you can see, is set up for video conferencing, so we can now do hybrid delivery where we have some of the students in the room and some perhaps joining the seminar group online from an off-site location. So welcome to the last laboratory, which is the Geomatics Laboratory, and it's in here that we've got lots of specialist facilities related to geographical information systems, which has been a real growth area in geography, applied geography, whether it's human or physical. and we are keen to ensure that all our students of geography are exposed to GIS, particularly in the second year, an introductory course, and then going on to do more specialised work if they choose to specialise that in the third year. Why do we put the focus there? Well, because it's so important in terms of employability.
My name is Paul Taylor. I'm Head of Department for Social and Political Science here at the University of Chester. Welcome to Westminster Building. This is home to the Department of Social and Political Science, where we do most of our teaching. Our staff group's made up of around about 35 different academics, professors, senior lecturers, associate professors, research assistants and so on. If you want to spend a bit of time with me today, just have a look around our facilities. You're more than welcome to follow me. Many of our courses involve us working in small groups, whether that's practicing skills in programs such as counselling, or whether that's problem solving. And in order to do that, we work within those small groups in dedicated environments and locations, and this is just one of the spaces that we have in the department in Westminster Building. This is one of our syndicate rooms. Here, this is where our students and our staff undertake their problem solving and their skills training with one another. We use recording facilities so students can listen back, and also video facilities so they can watch their own practice. We've also got spaces such as these triad training rooms where students can work together in confidential spaces. Whilst many of our programmes work in small groups for their teaching sessions, of course there are lectures that go on in many of our programmes, and our face-to-face sessions take place in rooms just like this. We have lectures most weeks in the programme, but those lectures are often accompanied by smaller group seminars or tutorials.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kevin Hoshard and welcome to the School of Psychology. Here at Chester we are focused on our students. We put them at the heart of everything we do, and we ensure that you develop the skills and the knowledge base that you can take on and apply to any environment, and especially develop skills that will be useful to you in your future employment. Now I'm going to take you on a tour of some of our specialist facilities so you can see some of the equipment that you might use as a student with us. Here we have the Dynavision. This machine allows us to test hand-eye coordination and is frequently used to test for brain injury rehabilitation. As you can see, Sonali here is trying to hit the dots. It's trickier than it looks. And here we have two different types of eye tracker. First, a fixed one, which is looking at the pupils of the participant and mapping where the participant is looking on a fixed image. And here we actually have, I don't know if you can see me, I'm moving, we actually have a portable version which we allow students to wear so they move around and they can capture real life going on, and they can see where people are looking in a dynamic environment. And here we have a cold presser machine. Yasmin here has her hand in water that is 3 degrees Celsius. That's quite cold and, as you can imagine, quite painful. We use this to test how long people can withstand painful stimuli. So if we're trying to do an intervention, for instance, develop something to help people with chronic pain, we could test in the lab whether or not people can withstand painful stimuli and if our intervention has worked. And here we have what we call the runway. This is essentially a sophisticated anticipation timer. A light runs along, and as you can see, there's a marker. This laser is reflected back off the floor. When I break the line of the laser, it will stop the light. So we can see whether I am fast enough to stop the light traveling at a particular speed when it's coming towards me. So let's try it. Let's see if I can. Okay, did I do it? I think I did. Anyway, now say I were to do this now without not having drank any coffee. Obviously I have, but If I then compare it to a moment when I have drank a lot of caffeine, will I be faster? Will I be slower? Will I be as accurate? This will tell us accurately if that's the case.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Price. I'm Head of Social Science here at University Centre Shrewsbury, overseeing many of the psychology programs. One of the unique aspects of our courses delivered here at Shrewsbury is the applied nature of all courses. And what that means is that we have very much hands-on learning, very interactive teaching and learning facilities, and smaller groups in order to encourage deeper learning. A lot of the teaching and learning on our courses happens in this very room, where we have part of the room as a lecture theatre or a classroom, and part with computers. And what we tend to do in most of our modules is deliver a little bit of a lecture, as well as having our students put things into practice by completing workshops and tasks on the computers. Within our lab spaces, you can use a lot of very psychology-specific experimental software as well as equipment. So, for example, we use BioPack in a lot of our biological research. We have some VR headsets to gain experiences of what other people are feeling and are doing. And we, of course, have SPSS, which is our software that we use within our research methods. That's just a short list of some of our psychology-specific software.
Hi there, my name's Caroline Chappell and I'm a senior lecturer in the law school here. I've been here for about 10 years and my specialisms are tort law and medical law and ethics. And the room we're in, which is within the law school, is the mooting room. And this is a mock courtroom with a witness box and a bench, and where the defendant and claimant will sit. And when we're having mooting competitions, we'll have an actual local judge to rule on who has won. And there's competition nationwide on that. We also have in-house competitions between our own students. Mooting is something that a lot of students enjoy. You don't have to do it, but it does develop your presentational skills. And these days, in a competitive working environment, presentational skills are really important, and we embed them in the undergraduate course as well. So now here we are. This is a seminar room within the law school. The law school is named after Elgin Edwards, who is a very famous criminal judge in the local area and gave a lot of support to the law school when the law school was starting up. He would allow students to sit with him and marshal, etc., which other judges do now. Now, he's sadly passed, but the building is named after him, and this is one of the seminar rooms. Now, the way we tend to deliver content are lectures, which tend to take place on main campus, which is about a 7-minute walk away, and then you drill down into that material in more depth in seminars, in small group sessions, in rooms like this, both here and on campus. The great thing about this building, not only does it look great, this lovely Victorian building, it's also got a common room with computers and tea and coffee, so you can hang out away from main campus if you want to, and it does give our students a real sense of belonging to a law school, an actual entity. So this is the Victorian bit, campus is more modern, and you'll be taught both here and on campus should you come here.
Hi, I'm Jeff Elvey and I'm the head of the Institute of Policing here at the University of Chester. I'm a retired police officer, having worked for Cheshire Constabulary for 30 years, mainly in a variety of criminal investigation roles such as heading up the Force Development Team, the Force Intelligence Bureau, managing homicide investigations and managing covert policing. My last job was the head of investigative skills training, which led me to come and work in the university here, where I'm now in charge of the policing department. The policing department are based in this building behind me, which is Blatchford Hall, together with crime trainers from Cheshire Constabulary and also the uniform trainers from the Force who teach on our police constable degree apprenticeship. This is the room downstairs here in the Blatchford Hall, and this pairs up as two things. It's one, the plenary room for the Immersive Learning suite, which I'll show you later, but secondly, it also is used as a courtroom. So we can see we have a court facility here where the magistrates would sit, and a box there where you would be able to give your evidence. How this works in reality is that we do lots of work around decision making. We make you make decisions around realistic policing incidents, and then we give you an opportunity to give your evidence and to be cross-examined in a real-life situation.
Hello, I'm Simon Price. I'm one of the lecturers here at the Institute of Policing. I'm a retired police officer, having served 30 years with Cheshire Police, and I've worked here since 2015. Here we are at the custody suite. On your programmes, you'll be taught about powers of arrest. One of the things that happens when a person is arrested is they're brought into the police station or the local custody suite, and there a sergeant will decide if their arrest is lawful and if they can be detained at the police station in accordance with things like this, the codes of practice, which deal with how a person should be dealt with when they're arrested. You'll have the opportunity to explain the circumstances of the arrest to the sergeant, just as you would in a real life situation. Here we are in one of the syndicate rooms, and you'll be split into small groups during a Hydra exercise, maybe of 4 or 5 students. And as you can see from the inject on the screen, maybe via the printer or via a telephone call, you'll be fed information, and it's up to you as a team, and maybe you as the team leader, to make decisions and record them using the national decision making model that you've been taught on the programme.
Hello again. This is the Hydra facility, or Immersive Learning. This was invented by one of our friends and colleagues, Professor Jonathan Craig, who worked for the Metropolitan Police. We designed many years ago, and it was a tool that was invented to help police officers make decisions in very, very complex and sometimes challenging environments. The idea behind this in this control room is that we can send in injects, we can send in statements, we can send in anything we want to, telephone calls to the students who are sat in one of the syndicate rooms, as you can see down there. We can send them information, and they can then manage the situation, making decisions about how they will progress the investigation. They can ask for information, they can ask for resources, and we can manage that from within this environment. So really, it's a good way of consolidating learning and putting all that theory into practice.
We're here outside number 3 and number 2 College Close, 2 properties which we use as part of the programme. You'll be taught theoretical things in the classroom, like house-to-house investigations, for example, searching a property, dealing with crime scenes, but there's nothing better than actually coming here to one of these 2 properties and putting your newly acquired skills into action. If you look around this little area, it's a cul-de-sac. Nothing better, again, from an investigative perspective, than to have properties in the area where we can talk practically about the things that you would do if something happened at a property like this. Here we are inside the lounge of number 3 College Close, and as you can see, the situation in front of us is that the neighbours have reported seeing a body on the floor of the lounge. Your job, using the learning and theory that you've acquired on the programme, will be to come here as a first responder, come up with some hypotheses about what might have happened, conduct an investigation and record your decisions so they'll stand scrutiny at a later stage.